Hey, what's going on, guys? This is episode number 76 of Latino Vegano. I'm your host, Roger, and for today, I want to talk about decisions and how that impact your journey. And can we change our past? All right, so let's talk about that. So let's go.
latinoyvegano.com.
So yeah, before we go further into the discussion for today's episode, I wanted to always, give you guys thank you. Really happy and grateful for having such a great audience, for having you guys be part of this community, for having you guys be part of this project. When I started this project about a year ago, I always wanted to find a way of getting the world of veganism from a Latin perspective out there. And not only Latin, but in being very inclusive, all different communities, all different people that can relate. Really don't try to necessarily put a label. But at the same time, I wanted to represent myself the best way possible. So I opened this project, and now we episode number 76. It's amazing how the journey has been, and I really could not be able to do it without you guys. So I'm happy and grateful for you guys for supporting either my YouTube channel or the podcast and sale, or both. Either way, thank you so much, guys. So today I wanted to talk about decisions, and at the same time, if we can change our past. I mean, reading a lot about people talking about finding opportunities to change their past, and they want to change their past. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you want to change your past? Is that something that you ever considered? Did you regret about doing something in the past? Or if I would have done it this way, this is what happened. Did you live on the if? So I think in this day and age, a lot of us always focus on results. It's always about result. What you have is basically what determines you for most people. How much you have in your bank account determines how successful you are, or where you live, the car you drive, and how your body looks, and all these things determines the person's success in whatever they embark. At the end of the day, that shouldn't be the main point of focus for each person. You should be able to love and respect each person individually, regardless of where they are in life. And then you should focus on you personally, try to excel and succeed in different areas of your life so you can be the best representation of yourself. So do you wish you can change anything from your past? So I asked the question to myself, and for a long time, I wish I could have changed one thing, and it was actually two things, right? So I asked this question to myself several years ago, and it was, I wish I would have decided to go in a different path for my career, actually in my earliest stage. And let me explain what I mean with this. So basically, back in Panama, when you go to high school and then you decided to choose a career path or a study, basically you have like 4 or 5 different options of studies that you can choose back in the days. And I decided to go for accountant, so I decided to be an accountant. So basically when you get to high school, you choose accountant, so all your subjects are going to be accounting focused, or you choose to be scientist or a doctor, then you go over science. And you decided to go a lawyer, then you could choose a lawyer specialty. So you guys all different specialties. So the last 3 years of your high school, right, you only gonna be focused on those particular subjects. And then once you graduate, then you get a bilingual diploma with the specialty in accounting, lawyer, whatever the case is, right? So that's usually how our school system works. So back then, I never felt like I was a quote unquote smart student, right? And therefore, I put myself in a bucket where I didn't want to pursue a science career or a science degree, and because I didn't feel that I was smart enough. So I decided to go with accounting, which I felt it was quote unquote easier. So I was just looking for that route. And before I even go further in my story, there's so many things that are wrong that we can break down, from self-esteem to paradigms. It's a lot of things that I can break down, and we can narrow it down to why is that I used to think that way. But the point of this conversation is basically to talk about changing my path. So going back to the story, I wanted to go, and I knew that I wanted to do something related to computers. So I had that goal very defined in my head. So it was a matter of just finding how I was going to get there. But I knew I wanted to do something related with computers. And everybody was saying, well, back then, if you want to take computer, you have to go to science. You have to take a science class because, it's computer science, right? So, and he was right. Yeah, computer science, it was a subject that was heavily involved with science and maths and all these things, different things. So the best route to get to where I needed to go was taking science. But at that point in my life, science was not doing it for me because of how heavy there was in the study. And I was really more focused into like sports and a lot of physical activity. So you can tell how my life turned around, right? Well, anyway, so for a long, long, long time, I always felt that I wanted to change that. So I went to school, I graduated with an accounting degree. Then from there, I graduated to an accounting degree. Once I graduated, I was going to go to college, and I was asked myself, okay, what am I going to do? I knew the whole time what I wanted to do, what I wanted to take. I wanted to get a computer science degree. And I enrolled in a computer science class, right? Even though I didn't graduate as a scientist, but I still enrolled in a computer science class, and I graduated on a 4-year college with a computer science degree. Once I complete that, then I started working, and I'm actually kind of cruising my whole career path from high school all the way to corporate world, working in the college. So I went to college, and while I was in college, actually, I was working full time. So I was working full time. I'm going to school at night. That's usually how we do it back in our days in my hometown. So with that said, I did both, and I graduated 4-year college. Once I graduated 4-year college, I decided to say, well, what's next for me? So at that point in my life, I was working as a retail sales. I was in sales, right? So it's interesting because even though I graduated with a computer science degree, I was working as a salesperson. I was a salesman, and as a retail sales, and then I went to a corporate sales. So since I was working as a corporate sales, I decided to go and take a MBA, right, with a marketing focus. So I went from computer science to MBA with marketing. It was my master's, and that was what I completed with my whole, professional career when it came to studies. So for a long time, going back to the question, I always feel like I wanted to change that path and going from instead of taking accounting degree, I wanted to have a science degree. That way I can excel in computers. But now you ask me 2021, I would not want to change anything in my life, including the story that I just told you guys. I would not change that anything, because I started thinking 20 years later after graduating, now this day, anyone can get into computer without even going to school. You can literally go to YouTube, go to the internet, download a few coding tutorials, and then you can have a coding career in IT without even have to go for a 4-year college. So the whole aspect of going to school or even taking science would have been a nice thing to have, but it was not gonna allow me to become extremely successful, because this has nothing to do with it. The success that I'm going to achieve has nothing to do with, the education that I have. I'm not saying that education is not important, because of course I'm sure anything that I learned from, during those years or during that career, I would apply it to this day. But my success has nothing to do related to that. It has to be with, some more aspect, determination, mindset, so on and so forth. But for a long time, I wanted to change that. Maybe say, well, instead of me going into accounting, I would have gone into science and then get a science degree, and then I would have been able to do more, be more successful in computer science. But absolutely not. So when you always feel like you want to change something in your past, you really have to think about why is it that your life took that route. And then if it wasn't because of the way your life went, you would not be where you are right now. So who knows, if I would have taken science, what would have happened with my life? Because I don't know. I'm not living of the if. But I know that my life right now is great. And I'm very grateful that I went with accounting, because now I had that accounting background. You know what I mean? It's important to know numbers. It's important to know how to count, and you know the difference between a liability and an asset. So those are very key aspects that you need to know, right? So I learned that from my accounting background. Plus, my dad was in accounting too, graduated from accounting degree, so we have that in common. So you don't necessarily know how to do the books, but you know enough so you can have someone and do your books for you, and then you can be successful in that sense. Then I went to school for computer science, so I still was able to graduate with a computer science degree, even though I didn't took science in school. So I went and got my computer science degree, so I had that in my list. Then you got there, I graduated, I did a master's degree at MBA, Master in Business Administration. Why business administration? Because I'm an entrepreneur. So I need to have those skill set. And then marketing. Why marketing? Because I love marketing. I have a digital marketing firm called BeganRoger.com. It's a marketing firm because I love marketing. So every single aspect that I took, even though probably back then I had no idea what I was doing, it took me and got me exactly where I am on this life right now. 20 years later, it got me exactly successfully where I am right now in my life. So I would not change any of those things in my past. I'll actually embrace it. I'm so happy and grateful that I decided to take all those different steps, because those steps to take me right here where I am right now. So that's one thing that I always ask myself. And then, like I mentioned, you guys, there was two things that I used to think about changing. And then I already mentioned one. And the second one was I wish I would have started veganism a lot earlier. I asked myself this. So I used to always say this thing. But you know what? I don't regret it at all either. I'm very happy and grateful that I went vegan 20 years ago. Right? Because I could have done vegan early because I didn't know about it. So, yes, even if somebody would have say something to me back then, which they did, because part of the story is that I have an uncle that he's a vegetarian. Was a vegetarian. I'm assuming that he still somehow eat very similar lifestyle. And prior of me going vegan, he used to come to our house a lot. I talk about this a lot in several of my stories. He used to come to our house a lot, and he used to talk about vegetarianism. No, don't eat animal. But I wasn't listening to it. So basically, I wasn't ready for that transition. I wasn't ready for that change. So even though, yes, I was introduced to this kind of similar lifestyle before, but I wasn't ready for it. So even if I would have wished I could have done it earlier, I was not ready. When my time came, when the opportunity came, I took it. And I made the change in that transition, and I stuck to it. So I will never, or I will minimize or pretty much eliminate it from my vocabulary every time, you say you wish you can change something in your past, because everything that you've done in the past, it actually will set you up for the success that you have right now. And I have a great life. I'm very happy, healthy. I live a wonderful life, and I will not change it for anything in the world. Even when people say there's ups and downs and then downs, and absolutely, there's ups and downs. But even my down moments, I know they'll set me in for even higher moments. I always use this example. Last year was probably, I'm going to tell this story. I remember that last year when I turned out 19 years as being a vegan, I decided to do some charity work. I always try to, give back. And I have this project that I, every year around the month of September, as a matter of fact, which is coming soon, I try to give back. This is September is the month that I turn. It's my big anniversary, so I usually use that month to give back, right? And one of the things that I do is I just go out, just take my own resources, buy a couple of bags, and handle it to homeless people and whatnot. So I do this every year, or every year that I can do that. It's not I try to do some more charity work, but that's one of my preferences at this moment. And once I do that, okay, like I was telling you guys, so last year it was people. Some people might say that it was my worst year, right? And I mentioned some of the story about some of the issues that I was facing, but at the same time, for me, it was my best year actually, one of my best years ever, right? Even though I didn't have a job or I didn't have no type of my businesses were still coming on, my podcast was not even out yet, but for me was my best year so far because even though it was going through some down moments, when it came out really exciting, and I had so many opportunities to not only be creative. I created this podcast, which is something that I wanted to do. What the project that basically I said one day, you know what, I want a podcast. I don't even know how I'm gonna do it, but I just gonna do it. And shout out to Pat Flynn. He actually inspired me to put up this podcast, and he has some really good videos about like how you get started and how do you set up your equipment and all that. And that was great because it really helped me. I actually still use a lot of the stuff that he promotes in his video, as far as hosting services, microphone. This microphone, it was one of the Microsoft that he recommended, and I love it. It's a really good mic. He seems like a very thorough and serious guy. But anyway, I found the inspirations, and I was able to follow through and do it, and everything just changing. Then also, I want to give another shout out to Bob Proctor, my mentor, my coach. Been working with him, but thanks to Gustavo, he actually kind of pushed me a little bit to kind of follow these personal development field, so I can be able to find a lot of the answers that I was looking for when it comes down to my personal strength, my personal growth. And so Gustavo really put me into that path. So for me, that was very great. So if you haven't listened to my interview with him, you should highly recommend that one. So going back to the story, so I was talking to my cousin last year, and I was telling them that I was making some goodie bags for the homeless. I was gonna go and share those with my parents last year, and then my cousin was like, "Oh, okay, so that means that you had a really good year last year financially." And I I laughed, and I was like, "Well, do I need to have a quote unquote successful year for me to be able to give back?" No, that's not really. I mean, I can give back regardless of what's my quote unquote financial success looks like, and I feel successful regardless. And so, but at that point, I answered her question. No, not really. I mean, I'm not even working, so I don't really have like a quote unquote steady job. I mean, I just launched my few of my businesses, so this is they're still maturing, so they're not coming up yet. They're coming up yet. So at this point, is you only give when you have, then it's not, you defeat the purpose of giving. So you don't have to receive to be able to give. You have to give without expecting something in return. That's when the giving is actually have some meaning. So I laugh because I'm like, no, that's not even the way it is. But that made me think that a lot of people have that mindset. I'm sure my cousin doesn't mean anything wrong. Basically, it was the conversation went that way. But for me, it's like I don't really have to be in that scenario. And most likely I'll do the same thing this year too. I get ready, I prep in my goodie bags, and I'll give it out regardless if somebody give me on donate or not donate. I just do it out of my pocket because that's the way I want to do life. I don't want to be expecting to just me having something before I can give back. So So using that example, for some people might have been the worst year, but my perception is it was the best year. It was the best thing that could probably happen to me, because every time there's a down period, there's always an up, and then it's just a matter of time. The law of the universe talks about this. So it was a matter of time. So I learned how to be patient and let the idea marinate, especially the idea of the success that I wanted to have. Now for me it's so powerful, because not only I found myself, but at the same time I build more confidence, and I'll be able to express to you guys and share with you guys things that I have used and done and that actually worked for me to be able to obtain success. And the success can be in any ways. It can be financial success, or it could be personal success. It could be health success. It could be any type of success. Just add it to whatever you feel like is success to you. So even though I had last year, I will not change last year by any means. When a lot of people are talking about wrong things, bad things, and all kind of things on the negative aspect, I'm going to change that up and talk about positivity, because that's the way I saw everything that happens to me, regardless of the circumstances. So I'm going to focus on that. So that was the past. I left that behind. I'm focusing on right now. And how can I improve my life right now? How can I do things right now to make myself a better person, a better life? I can set up a better future, or can set up a better life for my family. That's my focus right now. How can I just be a more better servant for you guys? How can I give more to you guys? How can I create better content? How can I be more creative and create things so you guys can benefit and be a better person? So that's how the cycle works. For me, that's it. Whatever happened in my past, let it go. It's forget about it. You know, we can sit down here and break it down and see why you act this way, why you act that way, but where that's going to take us. So I focus on the present, and that's what I'm focusing right now. All right. So I'm going to give you guys some tips, 6 tips, probably 6. Let's say 6, right? 6 tips that you can start doing right now, today, that can definitely put you in a completely different path, and it can change your life. Not only change your life, but you're going to start thinking about the past, and you're going to focus on the present, right? Because this is what you need to focus on. Like, what can you do right now? Take those actions, these steps, so I can change my life and be a better person. And that includes health, wealth, that includes happiness, that includes everything. So even though a lot of people might not think that this is not vegan related, it has a lot to do with that as well. Because changing your lifestyle, changing the way you eat, that has a lot of repercussions in the future if you don't change the way you eat. But if you do, then you're going to find benefit. And those benefits can be instantaneous. You know how many people they had detected all sort of sickness, and they changed their lifestyle, they changed the way they eat, and in less than, months or whatnot, they have seen so many improvements. So that's how great the body is. So why not make those changes right now? Same way with fitness. It only takes a little bit. Go out for a walk. Ride a bike. Do martial art. Find a physical activity that is in you like, and then do it. And then commit to it. And then little by little by little be improving. And when you start getting better, more better, you develop that passion, and you just start seeing the result. Small changes. Small changes. I remember when I started lifting weight, scrawny, I was like 150. I put a picture of my transformation. You guys can look it up in my Instagram. I picture my transformation. I was like 150. Then I went to like 300 pounds, almost. Yeah, I think it was almost 300 pounds. It was like 250, 270. Yeah, almost 300 pounds. And then now I fluctuate, be close to like 220, 215, something like that. Competition, I'm probably like 190, depending on my weight. So my weight kind of fluctuates right now. The point is, I didn't get that result right away. It's been years and years and years and years and years of hard work and dedication, and then doing whatever it takes. But the difference is that, I have the passion. It's something that I enjoy doing. It's something I like to do. I'm not forced to do it. I already have a way of working out and different things. And so for me, it's just one of those things that I enjoy doing so much. Bottom line is, guys, is like find that discipline that you enjoy and do it. So let's go back to the tips now. So tips number one is, and you can apply this right now, is you need to start changing your mind. Your mindset. Everything starts from your mind. Everything. Everything starts from a thought. And then that thought, if you engrave it in your mind, it's going to reproduce. It's going to manifest, basically. So if you think about negative things, you're going to have negative results. If you think about positive things, you're going to have positive results. Sounds simple, but it's just like that. Think positive, think great things about you. And what do you think is going to happen? That's going to happen. It's going to manifest. Bottom line, it's going to manifest. So we are conditioned, to do certain things a certain way. And those conditions, basically what it does is like our culture, the way we eat, we're conditioned. The way we act is conditioned. Everything has been programmed to us, right? It's been programmed. And how do those things been programmed? It's been programmed from when we're little. The environment we grew up. It's like if you see me and then you talk to my parents, you're going to find so many similarities in us, right? And me, it's obvious because my parents, they raised me. So they raised me the best way they knew how. So whatever is that my dad and my mom taught me, that's I'm going to reflect on those things. There's things I'm going to change because, I grow and I learn new things and I break some old paradigms. But the reality is that the way we are, the way I am, and the way all of y'all are is a reflection of your culture, parents, and all that stuff. All that stuff, the paradigms, is a reflection on all that. Nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying that the way that you start making those changes is just make those changes in your mind. You have to make those changes in your mind. So if you want to have a happier life, think about having a happier life. If you want to think about having wealth, think about how you had that wealth. If you want to think about losing weight, then think about not having the weight. Think about the body that you already have, or body that you wish you have, or you're gonna have, man. So they actually change the wording. So think about the things that you want, but in the present tense. That's the key. So change your mindset. That's the first tip that I'm gonna give you guys. Go ahead. That is easy as it sounds, but we have to do it. So start doing affirmations. Start meditating. Start thinking about possibility. Start the way you talk. Start changing those thoughts. Don't look at people from a negative perspective. Look at them from a positive perspective. And I know this is difficult, but you just need to start practicing those things. So that's gonna be my first tip. My second tip, it could be the first one, is you gotta be grateful. Give thanks. You gotta be grateful. You cannot expect just the universe or the world or God just to give you. The problem sometimes when people pray is they only pray to God. You believe in God, they only pray to God, so God give me this, God do this, God give me that. And they get mad when God doesn't do it. But that's not how it works. You're not doing anything in return. You're not being from your heart, from out of your heart, you're not doing things. So you have to be able to be grateful too. So just be grateful for what you have, but that doesn't mean that you settle, right? But at the same time, be appreciative to everyone. Not just, not only say thank you when somebody gives you something. Sometimes now it's your turn to compliment others too. So you just get back, compliment others. People like compliment. Hey, you look good today, or thank you that was a great work. That was nice. Not everything had to be negative. I'll give you a perfect example. So today, so I order groceries, right, to be delivered to me for some particular reason. How groceries had delivered to me, and the groceries were delivered to the wrong address. Okay, and this happens to me before. So when it happens, I right away call the grocery store or the service hotline, and I wasn't mad at all. I wasn't upset because I learned that I need to control those emotions. I wasn't upset. any person in this situation probably would be irate. I wasn't upset at all. I was just kind of worried because I mean, I bought a bunch of stuff and I don't want my food to get bad or whatnot, or whatever. So don't loss or whatever. So I was mostly concerned, and I wasn't sure if they had delivered it or not. I got a message, a text message saying that my package or my packages had been delivered, but I wasn't quite sure because nothing was in front of my door. So mostly it was more concern more than anything else. So I called this phone number. This really nice lady picked up the phone and she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. First time I'm dealing with this. I'm not sure how I can help you, whatnot." So while she's going through all that process, she was putting me on hold several times because she said it was the first time that she was dealing with the situation. So I was like, I guarantee you that my packages is gonna be in an apartment that has a number similar to mine. They missing one number, so they basically the apartment complex has the same combination of numbers with exception of one number. So they missing one number. So by one number, it's a completely different address. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna actually walk there because I got a message that there was a package in my mailbox. So I was like, oh, well, might as well, since it's really close by, which I know where this apartment is. Let me just walk there and pick up my grocery. So I walked to the apartment, and guess what? All the bags were outside, and I was like, oh, okay. So at that point, they the person on the phone says, "Hey, Mr. Smith, I'm so sorry. I got somebody from the grocery store. They say they want to apologize for what happened." I said, "You know what? I got my packages. I really didn't need to come and get them, but I was around that area. Now I'm walking home with all my packages. It's okay, but I should have done that. So I appreciate you guys helping me, but I wish the person would have called me or something instead of driving in the wrong direction." So I was going through that route, and I was like, I started thinking, I'm grateful because everything was fine. Nothing happens. We all good. I still got food. So you always have to see things from a different perspective. And once you see things from a different perspective, what you're going through is not really that bad. So at that point, I even though I still in the journey where I'm getting better at recognizing where I need to improve, I caught myself enough. That's where the awareness comes, that I can stop. And then I can think about what I'm going to say or what I'm saying, what I'm sending the universe. That way I can change those things in the word. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to stop it. I'm grateful that I got all my stuff. Everything is good. Let me go home. No, there's no problem, So they call me. We talk. I tell them that it's okay. They refunded me some of the delivery fee, whatnot. And I was still like, you know what, I need to just say thank you. So I came home. Then I got an email saying if I want to do a survey. I did not, talk trash or bad about the service. I just told them that it will good suggestion. You guys always do a good job because they do. This is the first time this has ever happened. They always do a good job on delivering the packages and stuff like that. But I told them that, what they can do is they can confirm with the client is they receive their packages even before they leave, because that way they give like a double confirmation. That can apply to anyone, not just for me. That was kind of like a suggestion basically that I put in there. But at the same time, I gave them thank you for having the service, because that service, it really helps a lot of people. So I say all this because even though you can be going through the worst thing that you can ever possible think, you still have to change. You still have to see it from a different angle, from a different perspective, and be thankful, because it's always can be worse. It can always be worse. So that's what thanks means to me. To me, be grateful with friends, the universe, God, with everything, and not just see everything from a negative side, but always just give back and be thankful for what you have and for what you're about to receive at the same time. My third advice or tip will be to take action. For me, this is kind of like the one of the most, after thank you, after being thankful, and having the proper mindset, I definitely think taking action makes a big step. A lot of people will say, oh, I want to work out, I want to look good, I want to look this, I want to lose weight, but they never take action. So if you never take action, then you're never going to accomplish anything. You can visualize it, it can stay in your mind and all this, but if you don't take some kind of actions, then nothing's going to happen. You have to take action. Whatever that is, you have to take action. You know that the body is, if you work it out, it's going to see result, right? Slowly, surely, but you're going to see result. But you have to work it. You can't just expect it to happen out of the nowhere, right? It looks like a miracle, but you have to do something. So what I'm saying is the action has to take, the mindset goes along with the action. Same way, you want to get better computer, you have to practice. You got to get better at playing an instrument. Guess what? You got to practice. So bottom line is that to be able to accomplish things, you have to take action. So I will put actions on number 3. So just take action, even if it's one step at a time. You want to eat healthier. You want to change your diet to a whole fruit plant-based diet or to a plant-based diet. Well, you can take baby step. That's one approach that most people use. Or you can just use the cold turkey approach, no pun intended, right? Whatever is your approach. I'ma just go do it, right? I'm the type of guy. Hey, I want to ride bike. Okay, this is the bike I want to get. This is what I want to be riding. Boom, let's go do it. Get the bike, ride the bike, enjoy life. So I'm an action type of guy. I'm an action taker. I don't really necessarily go step by step. But I know there's a lot of people, there's a lot of y'all out there that it's all about taking baby steps. Okay, to take all the baby steps you want. No problem. Just take your baby step. Take your baby step. But don't stay just in baby steps. Always keep progressing. That's the one thing that I always tell people that say, oh, well, I'm not going to go fully vegan. I might do vegetarian, I might do pescatarian first and then go vegan. Okay, but even if you do that route, then keep moving. Okay, you did pescatarian, you did vegetarian, then okay, move to vegan now. So keep progressing, not just stay. That's my comment there for you guys that like to take baby step. You gotta take control of your health, and when I mean health, I'm not only talking about your physical health. I'm talking about your mental health. Mental health is a big thing. A lot of people are dealing with all kind of mental struggles, right? So if you're dealing with mental struggle, you have to take care of your mental health. That's most important. And how do you do that? There's so many ways you can do it. I can have a whole chapter just speaking about that. But one of the things that you can do is eat well. Mental health, physical activity helps a lot. Meditation helps a lot for the mental health as well, right? So eating well, exercising, and meditation. These are 3 things that you can do to work on your mental health. Trust me, they're really going to help you. Really going to help you. Okay? Like I said, so you have to, just in the same way of, this goes kind of like along the same ways of give thanks. You actually have to give more than what you receive and what you ask for. So I think that's part of the laws. I'm sure that's part of the laws in the universe. You have to give more. So if you are the person that is just expecting everything to be done for you, then you have to kind of change your mindset to be more of a giver, right? Be more of a giver more than a receiver, all right? Receiving, things you're going to get is just going to come automatically to you. So you just have to give more. And my last tip, number 6, is you have to send a lot of love. Try to be a hater. Don't be a hater. Don't hate people. Just be a lover, right? Send love people, appreciate people, not only people but animals too, the environments too, and embrace all those things. Because the more love you give, the more love you receive. So that's one thing I want to practice. So these are my 6 tips for you guys. Hope you guys find this valuable. I hope you guys find this interesting and find that it's gonna help you guys in your life, and you're gonna find so many benefits out of that. So this is it, guys. I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed talking about this, sharing you guys my story, telling you guys about how it used to be for me in the past. But I don't wish I could have changed nothing in my past, because thanks to my past, I am who I am right now, and I love who I am right now, and I'm loving it even more because I'm just getting so much started. It's like I just opened up Pandora box, and there's so much thing now that I can do. And one of those things is sharing all this information with you about how my journey has been progressing day by day. So now you guys know, start with the right mindset. My first tip, give thanks. Second tip, my third tip is take action. Fourth tip is take control of your health, including your mental health. Number 5 is give thanks and give more. Give thanks, give more than what you ask for and what you receive. And then number 6, you gotta send a lot of love and stop being a hater. All right, guys. So this is my 6 tips. This is my conversation for today. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give a like. I'm sending you like, gotta love. I'm sending you guys all the good vibe and the positive vibe possible. So see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much, guys. And stay tuned. Project Plan-Based Talk coming soon. I'll be sharing with you guys and some of my peers, some of my friends. I'm going to be bringing it on the chat. When I'm bringing them also on live, or I'm going to bring them to the podcast so we can share a little bit of our project that's coming soon. I'm excited about this project because you guys are going to love it. It's going to be it's so diverse, so funny. It's entertaining, but it's also at the same time educational. And then you got 4 different personalities, but we crazy, but at the same time we have like crazy chemistry. You guys are going to enjoy that so much. I mean, so yeah. All right, guys. So thank you guys later. See you in the episode. Bye, guys.
Gracias por escuchar Latino y Vegano, un show donde se habla todo lo relacionado sobre el veganismo entre la comunidad latina. No olviden suscribirse a este podcast, seguirnos en Instagram, Facebook, YouTube y a visitarnos en latinoyvegano.com.